Okay, so here we are at part two. If you didn't catch part one, we had St. John's Wort Radiance, 2 for the feminine, Cordyceps 26 for revival for the masculine, and then for the shared energy of the two, Bhavanasana Trust. That felt so good. I stopped the reading there, but I want a little bit more information. So we're going to check in with the internal energies as it relates to the masculine and feminine now. And all right, so we get the feminine. 2 popped out right away. We got the Seeker of Boons, which is the Knight of Pentacles, and the Huntsman, which is the Justice card. Okay, and then internally, we get 2 cards for the masculine, and that is 10 of Spells and 3 of Challenges. Okay, so what I get here is, so there's some very deep work going on. The feminine is being asked to tread carefully, to not overdo it, to be mindful of her part of the balance. I know for myself, sometimes I get really excited and I want to know all of the answers, or I maybe know all of the answers, or I can see a lot of what's moving forward, and I want to share that all simultaneously. But to really check and balance that masculine and feminine balance within to cultivate better structure. Okay, that's this is what I'm getting from those cards. It's also what I'm seeing too, and again, noticing this for myself, is being more aware of the forgiveness energies that need to be implied. So sometimes our distortions that we hold of the sacred masculine, whether they're friends or family members or whatever, because there's been so much stuff that's been that's built over the years, and there's been so much resentment, that there is some fear-based stuff. And I think that this is also an indication that yes, you can tread with caution and you can pace it at a different pace than what you have done previously, but this is the time to trust the balance that is moving forward. And this being paired with the masculine, it's interesting. I really see these two working together. I first saw these cards and was like, oh no, what heaviness is upon us. But what I really am seeing here is that the masculine is genuinely feeling sorrow and regret for the ways that he may have walked past the union in the past, creating dizziness and confusion for the feminine. And there's a genuine act of apology here. Now, again, I really see these two energies working together. It's this is the feminine has done such deep healing work, and the masculine is benefiting from this, just from the parts that you've done themselves, by seeing you integrate it. So these cards go together, right? There's a lot of feminines in this card. They're disoriented, they're confused, they stayed too long at the ball, they became overly enchanted, they're dizzy, they've been spun around in circles so many times. So they learned how to pace themselves differently, how to navigate their own personal energy with more diligence and truth. And in doing so, the masculine is genuinely sorry about how he has treated the feminine in the past. He's also grieving for himself, for the ways that he turned his back on union. I really see that this is the younger version of this guy somehow, a woodsman, somebody who really wants to cultivate and make it right. I really love these energies complementing each other, and I'm seeing such profound growth moving forward for this pairing, especially as the woman or as the feminine can come back deeper into her forgiveness and move forward with such precision. Okay, I'd like to know what the shared energy would like to share with us at this time for the internalness. Okay, yes. So this makes sense. This ties us back to our 2 from earlier. This is the 2 of Boons, 2 of Pentacles. This came up in another reading not long ago, where it's just getting water under the bridge. You don't have to ignore what it is that scared you before. You don't have to be frightened by what happened before, but you can still address it. You can say, hey, remember that troll under the bridge, or that really sucky time? I'm still nervous about that troll popping up. And, how have you dealt with the troll since then? That sort of thing. And I'm seeing such a harmonious balance kind of coming into play as both parties in the physical are starting to assess or in the physical body are starting to feel and navigate what it is that balance is and feels like, which is exactly what these cards are saying. Really beautiful. Okay. So 2 cards, I didn't even have to shuffle them. They just like flew off the top of the deck. So for the feminine, we've got Queen of Swords. And for the masculine, we get the Empress. So this is really interesting. And for the shared energy, we get Queen of Wands. Okay, so there's a lot of feminine energy coming through in these cards. There's a lot of empowered feminine energy in these cards. Now, something, and the other one that, okay, great. That's all I'm taking. And a bunch more just kind of fell out. This one fell out, and it fell out the same as from a reading the other day. This is the Ace of Swords. Okay, so as the Ace of Swords came out, yeah, there's more going on. Okay. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is like the feminine is in a deep reflection and a deep understanding of how she wants to cultivate the future for herself. All right, what energies am I going to allow? What I like about the Queen of Swords is she has strong boundaries and she's not willing to bend. Sure, sometimes she can get a little stuck in her head, but really, maybe not stuck in her head. She's got this clarity that she's able to have. Now, sometimes the boundaries can be a little too rigid, and that's important to be mindful of. But what I mostly get from this card is direction. It is direction and purpose and not willing to settle for anything less. Now, the other card that came out, and I think this is also for the feminine, is this reverse wands. So I do think that there's new perspectives coming forth, new downloads, new healings. This has been consistent with other readings that have been coming up. And it's just really like allowing these downloads of spirit to come in and move through you. Don't get stuck in the process. Don't get stuck on the vision of how it needed to be. Allow this reverse perspective. Allow turning your world upside down to try something new and different that maybe you haven't done before. I know for myself, I like consistent communication. Who doesn't? And that is absolutely a non-negotiable moving forward, consistent communication. But then there's this thing of like, if I have an expectation around communication and when it comes through or how it has to come through or why haven't they addressed that or blah, 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 I'm actually being invited now to look at my own anxiety of why do I need a response from them? Why do I feel like I need them to be a part of this decision? And can I get clear for this decision on my own so that I can move forward with a clear perspective that's driven in passion, purpose, and drive? So it's really good for the feminine. Now, also, we get the Empress for the masculine. And his second card that came out, because they were just revealing themselves for the deck, was also this Ace of Cups. All right, so this is new heart energy. So this tells me that there's in the original split, and I can't remember if it was Atlantis or Egyptian time. There's 3 original ones of the masculine and feminine. I believe it was from Egypt, because we had the priestesses working together. And there with the priests, and there were sorcerers and sorceress, wizards and witches, and they were all working together. They weren't separate entities on their soul path. They were strong in their own energies, but when they came together, true alchemy occurred. So what happened in one of those initial splits was that one or the other, we won't point fingers, got skeptical of the other, and they both navigated that change by reversing their energy. So the women went away from their wombs, away from their hearts and into their heads, and the masculines went away from their heads and into their wombs. This is why so many men out there are pursuing with penis and not pursuing with purpose, which is not... It's not the order of things. That's not where we're meant to be. Where we're meant to be is that the woman is guided by her gut, guided by her womb instinct, guided by her intuition, guided by her connection with the Mother Earth, and that the masculine is guided by his connection with spirit. Now, I share this not only within an external union with your outer beloved, but also your internal ones. We've been recalibrating what that looks like, and this is mirrored so profoundly in our cards, right? And now I'm seeing even more clearly that this being the shared energy is the fusion of the wizard and the witches coming together, the sorcerers and the sorceresses, the enchanters and the enchantresses, the priests, the priestesses. This is the harmony of the divine masculine and feminine, so that they can create alchemy in the physical, that they can bring down these higher requests from spirit and grid them into the earth, surrounding ourselves with prayer and intention. Now, this is a really super cool reading, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm feeling also it's just like a lot of, the fact that the masculine is getting the Empress shows me that his hara is getting clear and is being cleansed of all of these past ways of being, i.e. being driven with penis and not purpose, all right? So there is so much divine feminine goddess energy coming into these things. There's so much goddess rising that the masculine is having to embrace his inner feminine, which is creating all of this softness. It's creating all of this nurturing. It's creating all of this ability to release all of the judgments and imbalances so that he may step forth and really be present in his heart, which is also where the two are meeting, right? You know, there's the work with the head, there's the work with the womb, but there's also this work with this heart. Now, I love this card of the Ace of Cups, and also coming down with the Ace of Swords. And we could read this as a reversal in a traditional sense, you know, that there's obstructions there, which there's always the invitation to do it. But I'm really feeling that this is just, there's so much spiritual downloads coming in, and there's so much earth energy coming up. That is just, this time is so beautifully unshakable as far as how we do this work moving forward. And I'm really excited about it. So with these two energies coming together, this is the divine forces, and if we can meet in this metal with this brand new fresh heart energy. Now, I've really been thinking a lot about the third energy lately, and I'm going to do a Lumerian draw as our final card this in relation to this reading, because of the Lumerian splits, but also the third energy between couples. And I'm, you know, I think it's called the egregor is the third energy. There's a fancy name for it, and I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of it. It's also in the book that I'm reading, and it's how sacred that energy is. Now, there's been a lot of complications in sacred union because of these original wounds and all of the distortions and the splits and the pains and everything that came with it. And we're actively healing those now, because it's time for us to come together in divine union. And we are more advanced now because we've had to find the divine union within ourselves instead of being just the clear, pure channel of the feminine. Now, we can have a charge that leads us one way or another, especially based on our physical forms, or not. You know, this is also a part of why we have so many more gender fluid people at this time on our planet, because it is showing us that we are merging in a way that is incredibly powerful and pure. So in a way, we are all the non-binary, but it's all a spectrum, right? So we all have these different charges. Okay, so I digress. Anyway, as we move forward with the Lumerian energies, if we're seeing this original split as if, you know, masculine and feminine are this is the tree trunk, right? And this, you know, this is the masculine and this is the feminine, and they're coming together. Well, we have this split going on that happened, and it was painful. It was a split. Now the feminine is on her own, the masculine is on his own. She has to learn how to have the masculine. He has to learn how to have the feminine. And ultimately, now we're coming back together, but we're even more whole. So I've been seeing the number 4 so strongly. Here's the 4th in divine union. Okay, we're going to pull this card for the Lumerian and see how this sums up our reading for today. This is really powerful stuff. Honestly, and it's 2:22. I just looked at the clock. All right. So this is surrender, is what this says, and this is a full loop of surrender. There's like this is consistent with the cards of the reversal of perspective too. I'm also feeling here it's not just a earthly surrender. It is like just spirit take me, you know, give it over to God sort of thing. You don't have to worry anymore in this surrender if you're safe. You are. We are in it. We are actively in the process, and the more we allow ourselves to go into the process and the varying forces and ways that come up, the stronger that we will not only feel within our own inner union, but also how much stronger we'll feel within our outer unions. I'm feeling a lot of similar energies in the trust card as the surrender card, and that is not by accident. There's a lot of similar colors in the card. There's a lot of this is maybe a little more of a celestial energy, and this is more earthly, but I'm feeling these working together so much. I feel like the assignment here is to do some work with your own inner Merkaba, or you can just meditate as if you and your beloved, your external beloved, are in your Merkabas. Also, sometimes twin flames, sometimes soulmates can share those too. That gets a little out of what I've been able to see as an intuitive at this time, but I've heard other teachers talking about that. So I leave you with the message of trust and surrender. You are actively in the process of divine union. I am too. This is so beautiful. This is why we're here. It really is. So blessed be to all of you. Many blessings of union and infinite love. May we feel it and feel connected and grounded and true in all that we are and all that we are meant to be, and all that we have been. As we release that and we step forward into all that is to become, I wish you the greatest blessings on your path forward, and I'm looking forward to when we connect again. Blessed be. Aho.